Welcome back to Green Fix. Of course, this is the segment where we focus on matters sustainability, matters recycling, matters environment, and of course, we highlight people's achievements and accomplishments. And these are our green warriors. So we managed to have a very interesting conversation with two founders of a company known as Africa Collect Textiles. Now, what they do is they really just recycle and, of course, reuse clothes. The thrift and of course, the second-hand clothing business in Kenya is quite big. So we're going to be giving you an analysis of what exactly the numbers are, the statistics are. We also have somebody to expound further on this particular conversation. We'll be talking to Teresia Wairimu, and of course, she is the chair, Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, and she will really be just telling us on what exactly they're doing as an association to ensure that textiles are recycled and don't just pose a problem. To further the conversation, we're also going to be having our question tonight that is on the big why. It's very simple. It goes something like this. What creative ways do you use to recycle clothes at home? Once again, tonight on Green Fix, our big why is very simple. It goes something like this. We are asking you to tell us what creative and sustainable ways you use to recycle or reuse fabric at home. You can let us know on social media. You can text us, that's SMS 22047. You can also find us at TV47 Kenya on X, on Facebook, as well as on YouTube. If you're watching us live, drop us a comment over there. And do tell us, what creative and sustainable ways do you use to recycle or reuse fabric at home? We would absolutely love to hear from you as we continue with this very interesting conversation. Now, with me in studio, I have my guest. Her name is Teresia Wairimu. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time. And we really are discussing a conversation and a topic that I think is something which definitely we need to talk about in depth. And we need people to know more about Mitumba as a business, its impact on climate, and of course, its impact on the country in general. We do know that secondhand business clothing here in Kenya is something that is very huge. You know, people are using it in all parts of the country. People do go thrift shopping, especially with the Gen Zs right now. A lot of them, you know, they prefer to go and thrift shop rather than going and shopping with fast shopping clothes, and of course industries as well, which I think is a good thing because there is some sort of awareness when it comes to trying to be more cautious and trying to be more intentional on the kind of clothes that they are wearing and how it'll impact the environment in the long run. Yes. But you, as the chair of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya, what are you doing to ensure that Mitumba doesn't just pose a problem in the long run, and of course it doesn't impact the climate negatively?
Thank you so much for having me and for availing this opportunity for me to be in this studio. This is a question many people have been asking, what we are doing to deal with textile waste or Mitumba waste. But today, I want us not only to talk about the used clothes waste.
Yes.
We need to talk about textile waste.
In general, yeah.
Yeah, because whether the clothing is new or old, it will come to the end of life. So what we should be discussing is what happens when these clothings are at the end of life here in Kenya. Because number one, when we talk about Mitumba, anybody who is in business we'll always ensure to get good quality. We will not want to deal with waste.
Yes.
It is very cheap to discard waste in Europe or in America or in the first world. It's cheaper to discard there. It is very expensive to bring something that will end up in the landfills here in Kenya. So anybody importing Mitumba, the first agenda is to make sure what they are importing is good quality, reusable. It is something that will go directly to people's houses to be worn, to be sold, you know?
Yes.
And avoiding waste at all cost. That is Mitumba business. Now, number two, Mitumba in Kenya is number one, conserving our environment. Can you imagine? Every year in Kenya, we are importing over 180,000 tons of used clothes.
Wow.
These are 180,000 tons of used clothes.
Yes.
Can you imagine what it would do to our environment if we are manufacturing 180,000 tons of clothes per year? So through Mitumba, through what we are calling a circular economy, we
Yes.
are able to extend the life of garments. So for me, my appeal when we are talking about now how to deal with waste
Yes.
is to the manufacturers. What are they manufacturing? Are they manufacturing good quality clothes that can support 2 to 3 lives? Because we don't need to manufacture clothes that can only support not even 1 life,
Yes.
half a life. We have a big problem with fast fashion. Clothes that are being, you cannot wash them 5 times. They are done. So this is where now the big problem with waste, textile waste, when the quality of clothes is bad. So with the Mitumba, we are extending life of garments.
Okay.
Therefore conserving our environment and making sure that we are not importing waste.
Okay.
Yes.
Teresia, maybe you can also enlighten us on what your association does to educate buyers, especially,
Yes.
Especially those on when it comes to climate change, when it comes to being eco-friendly. Are they educated? Are they aware of the impacts of textile waste on climate change?
Yes, yes. I can tell you that we are in the informal sector, but we are not informal, we are very formal. And people have a lot of knowledge, especially when you talk about textile.
Yes.
In Mitumba, what is in a bale is not exactly something you know or you are sure what will be in. You know if it is a bale of skirt, it is skirt, they are all skirts.
Okay.
But you don't know which type of skirts. You know, you don't know exactly how it will come. So Mitumba people have a high level of recognition of textile. Because in that bale, when it is opened, they have to recognize they have how many cameras. I know you know the term camera. Camera is the best quality in a bale. So they have high recognition of textiles.
Okay.
They have high knowledge of clothes. So whenever they open a bale, they know exactly what is there. So because of this knowledge, they have high knowledge of what they import into the country. Looking at our weather, we are in a very tropical weather.
Yes.
So what is coming into the country is very tropical. They have a lot of knowledge of what cannot be sustained by our environment and what cannot be sustained by people in Kenya. Because there are things which are very good quality. But are they for our weather? No. They are not for our tropical weather. They are not for our environment. So Mitumba people, they have high knowledge of textiles. You talk about textiles, clothes and shoes, they are very knowledgeable.
Okay, interesting. And then when we talk about, you know, the policies that are in place, maybe you can take us through some of these policies just to ensure that members know that they have to be environmentally friendly, they have to be sustainable at the same time, because we do understand that Mitumba is a solution to the textile waste and to the fast fashion that is really impacting the climate negatively. We don't want Mitumba to be another problem, an added problem to fast fashion.
Right.
So are there policies that are in place that are really helping in aiding this particular problem and, of course, becoming a solution rather than becoming a problem?
Yes, we have the Kenya Bureau of Standard, and we have in the Kenya Bureau of Standard, they have developed protocols of importation.
Okay.
There is these protocols that must be followed when importing a container of used clothes. For example, we have government-appointed agencies at source. For example, if you're buying from Europe, there in Europe, we have government-appointed agencies who make sure that whatever is exported from those countries to Kenya has already conformed according to the protocols of importation put in place by the government of Kenya. Okay. So that is number one. You don't just wake up and decide to import. Yes. There are protocols to be followed. Those protocols can be found in the Kenya Bureau of Standard website. They are there. We also have the government-appointed agencies at source. Whether you are America, you are in Europe, you are in Australia, we have companies like SGS, we have Bureau Veritas, we have people like Cotecna. Okay. These are government-appointed agencies that make sure whatever is coming into the country is fully conformed according to the protocols of importation.
Okay, that's very nice. I'm very pleased to hear that. Now, Teresia, in the instance, a seller doesn't want something, you know, a piece of clothing.
Yes.
Or a seller decides that they don't want to keep it.
Yes.
So what do they do? Where does it go?
Okay, number one, I want to let you know that one container, 140-foot container coming into Kenya costs about $14,000 in duty.
Wow.
That is minus taxes, port charges, and other charges that are associated before it gets to your warehouse.
Okay.
Just having a container in Mombasa, you have to part with over $14,000.
That's a hefty price.
Yes, if you are parting with $14,000, and that is only duty, import duty, not your purchase price, that is just import duty. How will a person, a business person who is seeing himself tomorrow in business, how will they import something that they will not sell? It is not possible. So, for example, if I am importing, I have to have a relationship with my buyer, my seller, my supplier. And what will come into my container is something I know for sure that I will sell. Something that will give me a return, not something that will come to be discarded. As I said earlier, it is cheaper. It's about 10 cents or 20 cents in Europe to discard waste. So having to pay over $14,000, you cannot import waste, something just to discard. You cannot do that. Number one, that is, I went to Europe last year. I went to Europe because, as you know, there are so many policies that are coming up or being developed to regulate the exportation of used clothes from the first world, the Western world. So in Europe, I was in like 7 member states. And one of the things that I was talking to them and I was telling them, because before they had not seen any African going there to lobby or to answer their questions. They have met so many people, NGO people who have documents that are from Africa, which us as Africans, we refute them. So when I went to Europe, one of the most important message I took to them is people who are importing Mitumba are business people who are looking to make profit. Those are not people who have been, there's no supplier forcing them to carry what they do not want to carry. What we bring into the country is what we want to buy, not what is given by people in Europe. So by the time they are making the policies, they should understand the socio-economic factor in Africa. For example, in Kenya, it is over 2 million people are employed by this trade. These are people who wake up every morning because of Mitumba. So these people should be considered. They cannot be ignored. So the policy makers, one of the messages that I took to them is nobody is being forced to buy what they cannot sell. Number two, it is not economically possible for somebody to buy waste to go and discard in Africa and pay a hefty duty. Even people in Europe, they will not pay $14,000 just to discard. So it is not possible.
So there's a report that actually came out a few months ago, 2 months ago, that said that Kenya is now the biggest importer of second-hand clothes in Africa, and it's overtaken Nigeria. And you know, some would argue that it is now a dumping ground for second-hand clothes, because this now means that our textile industry in the country is now struggling, because obviously Mitumba has now overtaken all the source of production when it comes to clothes in the country. So majority of the clothes that people are wearing are obviously Mitumba in Kenya. And this is something that a lot of people who are in the manufacturing industry of clothes, you know, textile industries, they're complaining about. So how do you strike that balance between these two?
I think it would be wrong to say that Mitumba has killed our textile industry. Mitumba has no business with the local textile industry because these are two different markets. And these two markets are also targeting two kinds of people. For example, we are talking of local manufacturers. What can we define what is local? Because I do not think we have our local manufacturing today. Because the textiles that are being used in the country are all imported into the country. Even the buttons anything that is used in terms of manufacturing is imported. So when we want to talk about local manufacturing, I would like us to talk about the revival of our cotton industry. We go back to farming our cotton. We go back to reviving our own ginaries.
Okay.
We go back to promoting education in terms of technical education. We raise as many young people who can become fundis to help in making good quality clothes in Kenya. Now, after we have done that, we can put our new clothes in the market.
Yes.
We can allow a Mitumba trader to put their clothes in the market. And since all of them are cheap, we allow now the consumer power of choice.
Okay.
Kenyans should be given power to choose what they want to buy. So local textile industry in Kenya has not been killed by Mitumba.
Okay.
We need to revive our local industries and allow them now to compete, because Kenya is a country that thrives business, in business. Number two, our local manufacturers who are manufacturing today,
Yes.
they are manufacturing for export. Only a very small percentage they are allowed to sell locally. Most of it is exported to other countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Teresia, when we talk about, some of the regulations or guidelines that are currently in place when it comes to handling of Mitumba or just the importation of Mitumba, in relation to the environment and in relation to the impact that Mitumba has on the environment, do you think that in the next few years, these will need to be tightened?
Yeah, what I think is we need to talk about the whole household textile waste.
Yes.
We don't need to talk about Mitumba because Mitumba is not the only contributor of textile in households.
Yes.
Every household buys new clothes every year. A report that was recently launched by Mitumba Consortium in collaboration with East Africa, the Kwame team, indicated that every year people are buying new clothes and old clothes.
Okay.
So every household is buying new clothes and old clothes.
Yes.
Yes. So when we talk about the end of life of garments, we talk about all of them.
Yeah.
The new clothes and the old clothes. They will at some point get to the end of life.
Yeah.
So how are we handling our household waste in Kenya? This is a household problem. How the city council is handling waste, household waste in totality.
Yeah.
We have manufacturers, they have their cuttings. How are they managing their waste?
Okay.
How is the manufacturers, how are they handling their waste?
Yes.
How is households managing their textile waste?
Okay.
A garment, whether it is new or old, at some point, it will come to the end of life.
Yes.
That should be now our discussion.
Yeah.
Now, not magnifying the issue of Mitumba. Number two, I remember your question. You asked how people are. What was your question? How we value add our garments when they are at the end of life.
Yeah. What creative ways do you use to recycle your clothes at home?
At home?
Yes.
I think mostly we use them as rugs. Yeah, we use them to wash the houses, the windows, the vehicles. That's how we recycle them.
Yeah.
And when we talk about how we discard them, I think it's very different. This terminology is very different when you talk about the end of life of garments in Europe or in America, and when we talk about the end of life of garment in Africa. These are two different places. In America, that's why we have used clothes. Yeah. Because they will discard good clothes, they will be sold to Africa. And they will be good quality, they will be worn, they would support 1 or 2 lives. So now when we talk about Africa, what do you do with your garments that you are not wearing? Yes. Number one, you pass them over to somebody who is younger than you. You pass them over. Now, when this person has worn them, they will also pass it on to another person. Now, at the end of life, we also give it another life. We call it a duster. We wash the house.
Yeah.
We clean the windows.
Yeah. Multi-purpose garment.
Yeah, multi-purpose. So by the time we are saying this textile now is for the landfill, it's completely gone. It is gone completely. So I keep on telling people, if we have a mountain here, somewhere of textiles,
Yes.
our people are jobless, and most of them don't even have capital. Our people will be happy to go and collect and sell.
Yes.
So here we don't discard good quality clothes. Whatever is discarded is used completely, and it is gone completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Teresia, when it comes to, policymakers, what do you think that they should be doing to kind of support the reuse, the sorting, the collection, as well as the recycling when it comes to targeting new manufacturers, like people who manufacture clothes in Kenya, right? Instead of circular economy operators. So what policies do you think now we should be directing towards people who manufacture new textiles in Kenya rather than Mitumba, as you've been saying?
Yeah, I want to say this. We should promote reuse of our manufacturing.
Yes.
Because this is how we protect our environment.
Yeah.
If we look at countries like America and Europe, right now, by 2030, Europe is saying that by 2030, they will have like 30% of their population buying Mitumba. Yeah, locally in their country. Right now, the percentage is at 5%. 5% of the population is buying used clothes. By 2030, they are envisioning 30% of the population will be buying Mitumba. So in Africa, we are happy to have Mitumba, and we are happy because we have consumers.
Yes, we do.
And most of them not by choice. It is because 50% of the population, they are earning below $2 a day.
Yes, so they can't afford to buy new clothes.
They can't afford to buy new clothes.
Yes.
So in countries where people can buy new clothes, the government is promoting used clothes over now buying new clothes. So how comes where people are buying old clothes or used clothes and are happy to buy them, now suddenly everybody is condemning them. People who are promoting circular economy. We should promote circular economy over production.
Yes.
Because people have a tendency of wanting new clothes every now and then. So if we can have our
event.
Yeah, every new event, especially here in Africa.
I agree.
But courtesy of Mitumba, people are able to buy good quality clothes, and they are able now to help conserve our environment by not overproducing new clothes.
Okay. Okay. Teresia, if somebody wanted to now start importing, or somebody wanted to start doing Mitumba trade, how exactly do they get into it? Because I feel like if somebody is watching at home and they're very interested in becoming a clothes seller and selling Mitumba clothes, how exactly would they go about the whole process? Where do they go?
I can tell you, this is the easiest business for anybody. Even somebody watching me, they don't have money. You have 1,000. That is more than enough money to come and start your business.
Okay.
Because there are so many items, they are sold cheap, and everybody can afford. For people who want to import, you need to have somebody to guide you.
Okay.
You cannot just come and go into it blindly. You need a lot of support. Somebody wanting to come to the market, you need also support. You need to look for somebody who is in the business to guide you. Somebody who can guide you. It is the easiest, but it is a business that needs people who are determined. It is not just a business that you can just say, ni side hustle. No, see your side hustle. Every business needs attention.
Yes.
So if you want to join into the Mitumba business, come and focus on it. It will give you return. It will give you the life that you desire. There are so many graduates who came looking for something to bridge before they got their dream jobs. But today they are happy. They have not gone ahead with their businesses.
Wow.
With their new jobs.
They continue to do Mitumba.
They continued to do Mitumba, and they are happy. We also have housewives who wanted to help support their husbands with the budget. Today, there are people who have supported their families in a way you cannot even imagine.
Very nice.
There are many housewives who have educated their children, many single women, people who were despised out there.
Yeah.
Somebody who knows the concept of buy and sell can actually thrive in Mitumba trade.
Wow.
Just the concept of buy and sell. Mia moja, mia mbili. If you know that, you can sell.
That's it. If they want to reach out to you as the association, if they want to contact you,
yes,
how can they do that?
Yes, I can give my number. Yeah, I have my number. My number is 0722 76. Oh my God, I'm giving my office number. 0722 33 71 40. That is my personal number. If you want to reach out, you want to do business, you can text me. Just text me, I'll help you. 0722 33 71 40. That is my personal number. Drop me a text. I will support you. I will help you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Lastly, Teresia, as we wrap up, I want to ask you a question that I think a lot of people sometimes, equate to this when they think about the growth of waste in the country and textile waste in particular, they think of the growth of Mitumba. Do you think they are related? Is there a correlation anywhere, or is it just in general a blanket statement that really needs to be changed? Because it's something that a lot of people say, that the growth of Mitumba now equates to the growth of waste in the country.
Okay, let's go to Takataka initiative.
Yes.
The Takataka report indicated that what they have as textile is 1.something%.
Okay.
Just 1.something%.
Yeah.
That is what they collect as textile waste.
Yes.
According to them. So any other report, I do not understand where they are getting it, because these are people who are dealing with waste.
Yes.
And when asked, when they did their own research and their report, they said only 1.something% is actually waste.
Okay.
Textile waste.
Yes.
That is exactly what their report. In Mitumba, we launched a report looking at how much waste comes into the country through Mitumba.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the researcher said he cannot just say 100% is good quality and ready to be reused.
Yes.
Only 2% was found to be waste. Only 2%. And we justified the 2% because these clothes are sorted by people, by human hands. So it is possible to have a jacket like the one you are wearing and have it torn somewhere, and a person just doesn't see it.
Okay.
So it will come into the country.
Okay.
At the end of it, it will be called waste because it was torn and somebody did not see it. But with a business mindset, it is not possible for Mitumba people to be people who are importing waste. Okay. We are paying too much money to import waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. I really enjoyed this conversation, and we hope to have such engaging conversations in the future as well, to really just give an overview of what Mitumba business really is doing in the country, and it's a part of the greater solutions when it comes to climate impact and trying to impact the climate positively and not negatively. So thank you so much for your thoughts. That's Teresia Wairimu, the chair of Mitumba Consortium Association of Kenya. We will continue to have this conversation. Remember, we spoke to Alex Musembi, who's the co-founder of Africa Collect Textiles, that actually recycles textiles, of course, footwear as well. And let's just have a look at what exactly they're doing and what they had to say about their business, by the way.